Are you gonna tell me where you went? All the messages I sent with no reply.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, 1000 Life Fam. If you're new here, my name's Janaea and this is Live 1000 Lives. Today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up for you guys, and I'm very excited and pleased with myself. So, let's get into this. In the month of February for my TBR bingo game, which if you have not seen yet, I will leave it in the cards for you. I only got 2 books plus a punishment book. So 3 books total that I had to read for the month of February, which let me tell you was such a nice change. And I do have to admit, I did complete them mostly. Don't worry, I did complete it. Just not the way I thought I would. So let's get started and I will tell you what I thought about them. And just so you guys know, I use Cawpile, C-A-W-P-I-L-E, for my rating system. I will leave G from Book Roast's video about all of that in the cards, so you can go check that out for yourself. But let's get started. So the first book that I read and finished in the month of February was A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This was the book that my daughter and I read for our Book IQ challenge. I will leave that in the cards for you if you want to go check out that playlist. It is super fun and exciting, so please go check that out and subscribe to her channel and mine if you haven't already. I will also leave Karina's channel linked above as well. So, we read this for February's Book IQ Challenge Round 2. And for characters, I gave it a 9. For atmosphere, I gave it a 9. For writing, I gave it a 9. For plot, I gave it a 7. For intrigue, I gave it a 9. Logic, I gave it a 9. And enjoyment, I gave it a 10. The total rating for this book was 8.86. The star rating was a 4-star. I can't really go into what this is about because if you haven't read the series, it will ruin some things for you. So it is the novella to the ACOTAR series, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see what happens in the new one. This book was not part of my TBR bingo game though, so it was just an extra book I read this month. So that's cool. The next book that I read was Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This book was phenomenal. I absolutely adored these characters and this romance, and this book was so good. It was so smutty. It was great. It was such a good time. I basically read this in a couple of hours. I read it for a Valentine's Day weekend vlog that I did. I will leave that up above or in the description box. It was a fun time. So for characters, I gave it a 10. Atmosphere, I gave it a 9. Writing, I gave it a 9. Plot, I gave it a 10. Intrigue, I gave it a 10. Logic, I gave it a 9. And enjoyment, I gave it a 10. The total rating was 9.57 and it came out at a 5-star, and it is one of my new favorites. It is so good. I highly recommend Talia Hibbert's Brown Sister series. I haven't read the other 2 yet, but I am very excited to. This was on my bingo TBR for Read a Romance. The next book I read in February was Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This was my punishment book for February because I didn't finish January's TBR. And I was really worried about this because I do not like Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I know, unpopular opinion, but it just wasn't for me. So I was really worried about this, but I was like, I'm going to read this book. I need to figure out if I'm going to unhaul it or what. Let's get into what I rated this book. For characters, I gave it a 9. Atmosphere, I gave it a 9. Writing, I gave it a 9. Plot, I gave it a 9. Intrigue, I gave it a 10. Logic, an 8. And enjoyment, a 9. Total rating was 9.00. It came out at a 5-star. You guys, I loved this book so much. It was so good. I absolutely enjoyed the characters in this, and I loved the twists and the adventure, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the next one. So yeah, I really liked it. This punishment book turned out to be a great book, and I'm very upset that I did not read it sooner. So yeah, and like I said, this was my punishment book, so it ended up being a good one. I'm not so scared of punishment books now. The next book that I read in the month of February was Tamed by Tana Stone. I will put a picture up here. This was an ebook that I was reading, and I think I saw this on Riley Marie's channel, which is why I read it, because she reads like the smuttiest stuff, and like she reads a whole bunch of different stuff, and I'm trying to get into more romance and smut and stuff, so I check her channel out. But this was actually very good. It's like a alien human like romance, and it was so good. So for characters, I gave it an 8. For atmosphere, I gave it a 9. For writing, I gave it a 7. For plot, I gave it an 8. For intrigue, I gave it a 10. For logic, I gave it an 8. And for enjoyment, I gave it a 10. The total rating was an 8.57, which was a 4-star rating. So I really enjoyed this. It was too short. I think that was my biggest thing. I wanted more. And it ended on a cliffhanger. And the other books are not available for free. You have to have Kindle Unlimited. So I'm going to be doing that soon, because I have to read the rest of the series. And it's like a 12-book series. But it's so good. So good. So I'm very, very excited to read that one. That one was just an extra book that I had started. I don't even remember when I started. Maybe January. And I wanted to finish it. And I did. And it was so good. I finished it on my husband and my anniversary trip. So I have a vlog for that. I'll leave it in the description or in the cards. All of the videos will be in the description box, because I think I'm running out of card space now. So we'll see how that goes for me. The next book that I read in the month of February was an extra book that I wanted to read for a read-along with Robbie from And His Nose Stuck in a Book. They were doing a read-along for, I'm gonna butcher the name, Femburnalong, 3 Dark Crowns series by Kendara Blake. I'll put a picture here. And I listened to this on audiobook, because I had started reading it physically and I couldn't get into it. And then when I started listening to it, it was like perfect. So for characters, I gave it an 8. For atmosphere, I gave it an 8. For writing, I gave it an 8. For plot, I gave it an 8. For intrigue, I gave it a 9. For logic, I gave it an 8. And for enjoyment, I gave it a 9. The total rating was 8.29, and the star rating was a 4-star. It was so good. It was such a phenomenal time. Highly recommend you check it out. I am going to be listening to the second one for that read-along in March. So keep an eye out for that. The last book that I attempted to read in February, this was part of my TBR game, and it was for a thriller, and that was Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz. I read 124 pages of this book, and every time I read it, I fell asleep. Every time I read it, I fell asleep. So I DNF'd it, because if I'm falling asleep, then I'm not enjoying it, and it's just not working for me. So I DNF'd it. I'm not saying that will be a DNF forever, but I was obviously not in the right headspace, and I was not enjoying it, which is a bummer, because it has like all the things I love, like paranormal stuff and like weird characters and stuff like that, but it just, Dean Koontz has a way of writing very, very, he kind of reminds me of George R.R. Martin. Their stuff is so descriptive that it's almost too descriptive, and it's so hard to get through for me. This was just, it just put me to sleep. So I DNF'd it. I don't rate my DNFs because I don't think that's fair. So those are the books I read in February. I could not believe that I did that, but you know, good for me. Pat on the back, yay. Which meant I didn't have a punishment in March, so go me. If you want to check out my March TBR, I'll leave it in the description box or in the cards for you to check out. That's it for this video, so please, if you liked it, give this video a thumbs up and ding the little bell icon so you can get notified when I post new videos. Please consider hitting the subscribe button so you can join the 1000 Life fam. Please remember that all of my social media links are in the description box below if you want to be my friend on either platform. If you want to chat to me or maybe do a buddy read, please let me know. I would love to do one. My Amazon wishlist is also in the description box below for you if you want to check out the books that I am interested in, or if you fancy sending me a surprise. Please remember that I have mental health links in all of the description boxes of my videos from the start of 2021. If you or someone you know needs them, please use them. Remember guys, a reader lives 1,000 lives and so can you, so keep on reading. And remember to stay safe, be healthy, be happy, be kind, and always love one another. See you in the next video. Bye!
It's like that. You're just gonna walk into my